welcome to the Outlander After Show Book Club here on theStream.tv. I'm your host, Keetin Marchi, and we have our amazing Outlander After Show panel here as well. Miss Jennifer Barnes. Say hey, Jen.
Hey, Jen. I mean, hi. How's it going, guys?
So funny.
And Mr. Ryan Hooks, our
hey guys,
resident
how's
Outlander.
it going? Good to see you.
So, in our Outlander Book Club, we're basically going to talk about the similarities and differences between the TV show and the book Outlander. Anyways, so let's talk about episode 11, The Devil's Mark, which, quick fact, chapter 25 is called Thou Shalt Not Suffer a Witch to Live. And that was actually that was used in the episode today.
True.
Yeah. It's like true, yes.
Yes.
True story, guys. Yeah, though that was the name, no, it wasn't the name. It was the name of the chapter in Outlander, and then it was, I think Father Bain says it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe so. So some of the things that were the same in the Thieves' Hole in particular, we have Gelis and Claire's convo was very similar to as it was in the book, and kind of the general feel. I mean, the Thieves' Hole to me, I did not imagine it being that big, but I still like the look of it, and I felt like the feel between the two characters of Gelis and Claire was pretty on point.
Right, I agree. Yeah, so it was a little different. I mean, I think from reading in the book, I feel like I imagined like an empty well or something, like kind of deeper and narrower. But again, I think it was beautiful.
Well, you can't fit a camera in an empty well.
Well, they could try.
They could try.
But yeah, and the other thing is in the book, I don't know if anyone else caught on this, but it feels like it's more extended, their time in there, like they're left there for a few days because they're waiting to get the executioner in town and stuff like that. But I mean, overall, pretty close.
As well as waiting for hopefully Jamie to come save the day, as well as, well, let's talk about the trial, because Mr. Ned Gowan was a big part of the trial. And a lot of the certain witnesses and testimonies, the baby, for example, that witness was exactly the same. The crowd's kind of feverish mentality was the same, as well as Jamie coming in to save the day.
Yep, that's true. A little different. I mean, it was set inside in that courtroom as opposed to being out in the town square, which it was in the book. The trial length was shorter in the episode, but I think, of course, I mean, you got to do these things for TV. But if you guys remember, it lasted over the course of a few days, and Ned Gowan, his approach was a little different because of that. Like, he was trying to stall for time and like constantly like, just droning on to try to make time for Jamie to get there. And then, of course, Father Bain's testimony. In the book, he outright just condemns her. Here, he kind of plays this game with the audience where he's, like, making them turn against her by making it seem like, he feels bad now for not believing in her.
Yeah,
awesome.
That was such
like
a
the big grand entrance where he's standing and they show the picture there of the shadow and he's just like,
yeah, that essence was still there, so that's good.
Great performance.
So Gelis, really quick, we'll finish up. So Gelis, the same is she saves Claire by bearing it all basically and taking the guilt, and her smallpox scar was the same, but they showed it and revealed this in different ways.
Yeah, and that whole scene, I'm glad that they did it in the TV show, though it wasn't in the book, when she's like, why are you here? Like, Gelis is trying to grapple in her mind about whether she should, like, take it all for Claire. Like, was Claire there for a purpose? That wasn't really in the book, but I think it really fit well. And then she says, I think it's possible 1968, and in the book, that comes from Dougal later on.
And okay, so Claire then tells Jamie the big ending to this episode. She tells him the truth, where she comes from, and she has the opportunity to go back into the stones. Her confession to Jamie is very similar, and his response, that was actually the exact line from the book. It was on page 553, but it would have been a good deal easier if you'd only been a witch. Yeah. And he then also takes her to the stones and gives her that option to leave.
He takes her to the stones, and Ryan, I don't know if you missed this, but would it have been more fun if he had yanked her out? Like if she had started getting dragged in?
I
and
actually
then
expected
yanked
that to
out?
happen as I was watching the episode. I was waiting for her to like touch it, or for
Yeah.
something to happen that actually involved physical conflict
Yeah.
with the stones that would make, I guess, Jamie believe the story
Yeah.
more.
Because in the book, he actually sees her get pulled a little bit, and he freaks out and pulls her back.
And I think that I would have liked that adage
Yeah.
because it would have given, you know, the truth to her story. You know, whether she's
Right.
making it up or not. I know he believes her, but at the same time, actually seeing it makes it a lot
Yeah.
more believable. And as an
Yeah.
audience, I think that would have just been a cool effect they could have added.
Yeah, and you know, in the book, she kind of spends the whole afternoon weighing her options. Like, you know, should I go? Should I stay? Spends the whole afternoon before she finally decides to go back to Jamie, who's waiting in a cottage instead of at a camp.
Well, I think that's about all the similarities and differences we
Yeah.
have from this episode of Outlander. Thanks for joining our book club discussion today for episode 11. Go ahead now and subscribe to theStream.tv on YouTube. Make sure you follow us on Twitter and tweet at us. Keep the conversation going. #OutlanderAS. But yeah, thanks for joining us, and make sure to check out our other book clubs and after shows. See you later.
Bye.
For more Outlander After Show, hit that button and subscribe. You know you want to on theStream.tv.